What's good, everybody? I come to you again from this weird angle, over here where I have set up my little testing station. I hope that everybody is having a good Halloween, and this stream provides you a little bit of spooky excitement because we're going to be playing with stuff that smokes and makes all kinds of, I don't know, creepy ambiance. I don't know what I'm saying. It's Halloween. Enjoy it. Eat some candy. Thank you, though, for joining me on this LN2 overclocking live stream. I have a few new tricks up my sleeve, which we're going to discuss in just a second. But just, I guess, wait for a few more people to jump on in here. And if you guys caught my last live stream, Keith, I'm not overclocking a 6400 on liquid nitrogen. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It is not going to happen unless you come over and we could do it together. That would be pretty dope. So the last overclocking live stream that I did, I was working with the same setup, and I kind of explained to you guys why it was set up this way and why I'm going to be live streaming like this. I actually kind of liked it, and it provided me with a lot of opportunities to do this kind of stuff more easily in the future. So that's why we're getting another one so soon, whereas I hadn't streamed for a while. But I have a new set, a new filming set, and it's right back there, right behind me. And I shot yesterday's video on that set. So if you guys have any feedback on the set or what you guys thought of the set design, the audio, the video, the background, anything like that, please let me know. I hope that it looks good. I actually really like the way it looks. And it actually provides me with a lot more functionality out here in my filming space versus, having to always go back to my office to grab the components or whatever I need. So audio is a bit low. Okay. Well, so my audio is maxed out right now. Let me see if I can adjust it on the camera side. Hold on. All right, I've cranked it up a little bit. Is that better? Is that too much? How does that sound? Does that sound better? It looks like it's actually almost clipping right now. So this is probably as high as we're going to go. As long as the audio is clear, that's what's most important. So anyway, yeah, please give me some feedback on what you guys thought of the new set that we filmed on yesterday. I just wanted to touch on, I guess, a few things before we got rocking and rolling with this Strix 4090. So the first thing is that I had this whole kerfuffle about these cables, these adapter cables, and hold on, these adapter cables, these guys. It's turning into a much bigger deal than I guess let me rephrase, than I maybe had originally thought. I kind of caught some flack on Twitter when I posted a poll asking like what you guys thought of the situation. I'm not sure why that would be. I think people were thinking that I was saying that it's not serious. I hadn't made up my mind. I said in that post, which was early days, that I didn't know, that I was on the fence. We need more information, etc. But there likely is some contributing factors. Regardless, it's probably a bad design. I didn't say that it was a bad design in the tweet, but whatever. So if anybody got the wrong idea that I was trying to minimize the potential hazard here, sorry about that. I didn't mean that. I was just kind of trying to get the temperature of the room when it comes to, no pun intended, when it comes to what people felt, how big of a deal this actually was. And as it turns out, it's a pretty big deal. There's, certainly it doesn't appear that there's a high percentage of people who are affected by this who own a 4090, but there is a high enough percentage, and the consequences of that event are severe enough where I think likely we're going to see a recall of these items. I personally haven't had any issues, and I've had 4 different RTX 4090s on my test bench for many, many, many hours. And as you can see, I don't really cable manage all that well. And so sometimes these adapters are bent and twisted and whatever else and abused. And I haven't seen anything yet. I'm looking at this one right now and it's perfect. So, you know, if you guys have experienced anything with the 4090, that is terrible, and I hope that it gets resolved quickly for you guys. It's serious enough where it should be addressed by NVIDIA, and you know, I apologize if anybody took my poll tweet the wrong way, but I was really just trying to see what everybody thought. Okay, let me put this away because we're not using this today. We're actually using, this is a cable mod extension that terminates to 4 8-pin PCIe power, much like this, but it's a much more hardy solution. And I have that wired up to an EVGA 1600 T2. Why did we go from a 1000-watt power supply to a 1600-watt power supply? Well, we did that because I've been able to work a little magic here, and I was able to work with Elmore Labs. And if you guys are familiar with them, or if you're not familiar with them, Elmore is an extreme overclocker, and he makes products for extreme overclocking like this. This is what's called an EVC. It's an external voltage controller that you can hook up to specific voltage points on graphics cards and then use software on, say, like a laptop in order to control the voltage of that card, whereas a lot of times NVIDIA locks that down. You have a small amount of voltage control as standard on the 4090s. The slider, you know, you could push the slider up in your overclocking software of choice from 0 to 100% for whatever that's worth, but it doesn't create a huge amount of difference. And from everybody that I've seen who's done any kind of serious overclocking, the limitation on these cards is not power, it's voltage. So I got this from Elmore. And I was trying to apply a voltage offset to this. This is a Strix 4090, and I was failing repeatedly. And I don't know what the issue was. And Elmore and I have spoken about this, and he doesn't know what the issue is either. This potentially could just be like a defective unit, which happens, or there could be something wrong with the connection. But I verified that all my soldering and my connection points were correct, and the software was working as it should. Just would not give me the control that I needed. So I was able to work with Elmore Labs, and with their assistance, I now have the ability to get some higher power limits out of this card. I don't really want to go into super details about it because it's not really something that's available yet. I don't know if it's ever going to be available, but they were nice enough to work with me and give me the opportunity to test this out. I won't go into details as far as what it is, but it's pretty cool. I was when I first got my hands on this thing, I was able to just boot the card up without any liquid nitrogen in the pot or anything, and I was seeing power up to like 900 watts. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And we got a couple different views for you guys today, which is the overhead and then the three-way. Now this, I wanted to get a camera on the screen, but this was last minute, and I didn't have the time to set up like a pass-through. So I have like a little webcam here that's pointing at the screen that hopefully should give us a clearer idea of what's going on as we're doing this work. So there are 38 viewers in here now. Thank you so much again on Halloween for coming and hanging out. And we're gonna get going here. So what I have 16 liters of LN2, which is 10 more liters than I had last time. So what we're gonna do is, because this card is taking up like such a huge amount of power, I don't want to like mess around and potentially, you know, overheat it or anything like that. So I'm just going to get this card, the temperature down a little bit. I also have an external voltage readout right here, which you can't see in this tiny screen, but this tells me how much voltage is going through at any given time. So let me just set this up really quickly, and then we'll get rolling. Okay. Where are we? 3D Mark. So we're going to run the Steam version of 3D Mark. No particular reason. It's just easier for uploading scores. So let's see who's in here right now. Keith, Manikeek, Mike, thank you so much for coming in and moderating. Same thing with Remix. Thanks so much. Good to see you here. Let's see. I am alive and back. Yes, I am. No chicken clocking. No, we're not gonna clock any chickens. Hopefully this is even. Hold on. Let's look at the plastic on here. Get out of here, plastic. Maybe that's better. All right. I want to get GPU-Z up and running just to see. So I don't know how well you guys can see that. It doesn't look like you can see it all that well, but this will at least allow you to see what kind of scores we're getting more clearly. So we're going to look at the board power draw highest reading, the clock speed highest reading, and the voltage highest reading. All right. Okay, I'm excited to get this going. No baseline runs here. We know what this card does as a baseline. So we're just going to set the clocks to something that I know that this card can do. Plus 175 on the core, plus 1500 on the memory. And then we're going to get this card down to about -40 and then get going. So we're at negative 23 right now, negative 24 coming down. Happy Halloween, Adam Driver. Good to see you. Rips the Ponzi. Yeah, screw that guy. Joe and his stupid, glorious beard. Nobody likes him anyway. Probably. All right, we're at negative 35, negative 36, coming down, and we're going to start our run. So you can see the current high, our current high score is on the screen, 29,121. So yeah, if we beat that, we will update that on the screen. Here we go. Love the Stroh's hat. Thanks, man. Don't drink Stroh's beer. It's terrible. But the brand itself, yeah, kind of cool. We're at negative 50, so we're going to wait till this gets into 3D mode and starts cranking before we do more pours. All right, so voltage is up to 1.1. Okay, well, that's significantly higher. And if you guys missed last live stream, I'm going to try the same strategy as I did last time with the temperatures. I'm going to try to modulate my pours so that I can maintain around negative 40 C during a run. Any colder than that, and the card was kind of bugging out, this is going to be an okay run. So yeah, this is a good start. This is definitely a good start. "9:15 a.m. in Australia. Good morning, sir." Yeah, this is taking a lot of LN2 to maintain a temperature because it is pulling likely so much more power. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? All right, this should complete without any more pores, I think. This took like the whole thermos, which is quite a lot. This run should be high 28,000s. $28,654. I don't know how viewable that is on like this little screen here, but at least, you know, maybe it's a little bit easier for you to see. All right, so we're still voltage limited according to GPU-Z, and we only drew 493 watts. When I had Freepik up and running, let me see if I could demo that. What happens when I run Freepik? So I know you guys can't see that, but it says 840 watts. So this card has the ability to pull another 350 watts without issue. So since that is the case, let's get this card cold, and then we'll start working on our clocks. So we're at plus 175 now. We're going to go to plus 200. We're going to leave the memory the same. Memory's at plus 1500. Wait for this card to come down a little bit. We're at negative 38. Probably going to have to dip into the other thermos for the next run. And we will try this again. So the clock speed was maintaining at 3105. It was just like flat 3105. Wasn't dipping at all. So that tells me that there should be room here. Is this view best for you guys, or would you rather see like this, or, you know, this even? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think is best for, you know, for these kinds of runs. Easiest for you guys to view. I also, just in case, we got a fire extinguisher because we're not messing around with 1,000 watts of power. Are you still using AMD for this, or 13900K? This is a 13900K test bench. Sorry, I didn't tell you guys that. I forget if the last stream we did I used the 5800X3D system, but I have switched over to Intel and the 13900K. Mostly because I have done some very small amount of testing, comparison testing, and I don't see a difference. So if that's the case, I had this set up already for some other things that I was doing, and it just seems good. So I'm just going to use this. So yeah, we are really cooking here with this LN2. Gone through an entire thermos already. We're going to have to refill the thermoses after this run. This run should be better. Maybe 29,000. Yeah, 5800 X3D was the last one. Okay. So yeah, this is 13900K. And we're going to stop pouring here. This might be it. Yeah, it's going to be okay. All right, 28,850. So yeah, getting up there, but still the power was just pegged. I mean the clock was just pegged, so we could go higher than that. Let's go. Let's just jump to 250 and see what happens there. And the temperature is good. The temperature is minus 47 right now, so we're just going to go again. How is the mount? The mount looks correct. I'm reading, well, so now we're below what MSI Afterburner will tell me, and below what Tech Power Up will tell me, which is minus 34. Right now we are reading minus 48 on the pot. So, you know, at some point, the sensors on the GPU itself stop functioning. So we're beyond the point where they will the readout in software will give me any kind of an accurate reading. There was a little bit of a stutter there. I don't know if you guys saw that, like a stutter at the beginning of this scene. I don't know what that's about, but everything else runs really smoothly. So and I really have to keep up with these pours. And I have to not drink liquid nitrogen when I'm going to drink my water. Now we're pulling 1.12 volts, which is a lot of volts. This run should be, again, around 29,000. Maybe I should start working on the memory. We froze. I don't like that. Okay, so just taking a look at GPU Z over here. I'll read it out for you guys because I know you can't really make it out on the screen. GPU clock was 3180 and just rock solid stable. Did not move from 3180. Memory clock 1500, and the power was at 500 watt, 500.1 watts. So that tells me that, I mean, I could potentially back off our GPU to 225 and maybe start working on our memory a little bit. Let's try 1600 on the memory. I do need some more liquid nitrogen, so let me refill these and I'll be right back. One. And two. All right. Let's get a lid on this. This is the one that we're going to be using. Okay, so again, we're now at plus 225 on the core and plus 1600 on the memory. And we're going to try it that way. I feel like the 13900K could get higher points if you use higher DDR5, like 7000 plus. 7000 plus is pretty expensive stuff. I don't even know if there's any reasonable kit that runs that fast. I'm using 6000 on this, and it seems to be working pretty well. All right, so now is the point where, since we're kind of like inching up, what I want to do is just kind of try to keep an eye on the runs as they're going and abort them if they're not going to be worthwhile runs. Just to save, LN2 and to save time, because why keep a run going that's going to be crap? And now that I have a much higher power target, it might be, this will be a decent run. It might be good to try to go colder. Like I don't know if that would work or not, but it's something to try. All right, that should be the last pour. See how we end up. This run looks okay. All right, 28,983. Okay, getting there. And we used 505 watts. So taking the core down and increasing the memory clock caused us to use more power. So let's keep doing that. Let's try again. Let's try 1700. I've never, the only card that I've had run 1700 on the memory was my Gigabyte card. The Strix card has never run 1700, but with these, with Elmore's help, maybe it'll happen. Who knows? Are you worried about your memory temps? Not particularly. So the pot gets so cold that it distributes some coldness. It absorbs heat from the surrounding PCB, and that the memory is surrounding the chip. So generally you don't have to do very much with the memory when you're doing LN2 overclocking. At least when you're doing LN2 overclocking at my level. Certainly, maybe professionals are doing something with memory, but here I think I'm fine. So we're at negative 54 right now, and we're going. So hopefully, hopefully we don't run into any issues. And we're at 1.1 volts. This does look very Halloween-y. Weenie. Shane says, Brian, is the power level set with EVC or just open to use what it wants? Right now it's pretty uncapped. So like I said in the beginning, I don't want to talk too much about it just because I don't want to overstep. But the team at Elmore Labs was extremely helpful, and I now am able to, push past the voltage and power limit that's normally on these cards. We definitely got some artifacting. Not terrible. Like I think that green's an artifact. I don't think that's supposed to be green. Maybe. I forget. But I saw a few little sparkles and artifacts, so. All right. So where are we at? 29,019. Okay. Getting a little higher. So we're drawing that run only 480 watts. But the clock speeds were 3165 and stable. So, yeah, for some reason I think that I could push higher on this clock. I don't know why it had crashed that one time. Maybe we'll try to go a little bit colder, like I said. And if that doesn't work out, we could always just take a pause and let it heat back up. So maybe I'll bring this down a little bit, and I'll bring the clocks back up to like 250 plus 250. So we're at minus 53 right now. Let's get down to minus 60, minus 65. And then we'll run it. All right, we're at minus 62 right now. What do we got in here? There's 60 people in here watching. Well, hopefully I'm not making myself look dumb. Well, we got a little bit of runaway here. Minus 70. This might not work. This card did not like these temperatures last time. Yeah. 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 Okay. So there we go. Sweet zero. Let's warm this up a little bit. Let's warm this up by running some Furmark. How about that? So that we could see what kind of crazy power draw this card is capable of. So right now the card is pulling 700 watts. That's enough because we're back in the 40s already. Okay. Let's try the same settings at like in the minus 40s. Whew, all right. So what's up, guys? Talk to me. I know it might be a little boring watching me pour LN2, just watch a computer screen, but unfortunately that's what we got to do when we do these streams. So give me something to talk to myself about. Oh, this is a bad run. What's going on here? We're at 106 FPS. Might need a reboot. We might need a reboot. What happened there? Yeah, that wasn't great. Okay, so I'm just gonna reboot here. All right. 20 trick-or-treaters so far. So I have a bowl of candy outside with a note that says, you know, please just take some, because I don't want to like disappoint our neighborhood children. It's weird. I live in like a development with a lot of kids, and I'm at the end of the development, and year after year, we get like no trick-or-treaters here. Like, I don't know if they're going to a different development to get candy or whatever, but like last year we had literally one group of trick-or-treaters, and we had an enormous bag of candy, and I just gave them all the candy. I'm like, here, just take what you want. This year we bought much less candy, and I'm doing this with you guys. So it is trick-or-treat time right now on the East Coast. I think the town says between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. you're allowed to trick-or-treat. Is this a thing? When I was younger, there was no time, or at least we weren't aware of a time. We just went out. And when we became like teenage hooligans, we were just like out all night, just doing stupid stuff. So I don't know if now like there's a crackdown, you can only be trick-or-treating between like 6 and 8 p.m. I didn't know that was a thing. So, but apparently it is. So right now there could be people at my front door taking all my candy. And if you're in the area, please feel free to stop by and get some. All right, so I'm going to leave GPU-Z closed just for one less thing to be running. How much was the LN2? I bought 16 liters today, and it was $95. I get like 100 kids in my area. Yeah, when we were younger, I mean, I remember there was a lot of kids around all the time. All right, so where were we? Like 250 on the core and 1700 on the memory. We're going to try that. See where it gets us. Got to get us back down to temperature though. Mike says, I feel like it's probably safer to set times for everything for youngest kids. You're probably right. But I remember like when we were younger, like the younger kids went out with their parents or with like an older sibling or something. And it wasn't like an unsafe situation. At least I don't remember it being an unsafe situation. I guess it could have been. But I was a kid. What do I know? All right, getting down to temperature now. Let's run this. Usually started at 6 after dinner and ended at 8, but no rules. Northern Canada. Northern Canada? Man, you guys have a dense enough population up there to go trick-or-treating? I'm in a totally isolated apartment complex and was previously in a totally isolated condo complex. I'm at 15 plus years without trick-or-treaters, even though there are kids in the complex. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. It's kind of fun. Like, I enjoy it. I wish more kids came around, but they just don't. All right, we're at minus 49 to start this test. Wow, that was a lot of artifacting. That was... All right, this card did not like that at all. Let's back this memory off a little bit to 1650. And try that again. Mike says, our neighborhood is literally right behind an elementary school, but I feel like most of the kids stick to the north end of the neighborhood. I thought you weren't allowed to be near a school. Did that change? Did that get reversed? Good for you. The parents would trick or treat for shots. That's interesting. I mean, I've definitely had parents like show up here and take candy for themselves, which is fine. You're out there, why not? A lot of them are wearing costumes too. All right, this failed. I think I might have to break down and remount. Might try to do that. Application has been blocked from accessing graphics hardware. What does that mean? All right, we're going to go to this view, and I'm going to move this for a minute. What does that message mean? No, not that message. What does that message mean? I don't know what that message meant. I don't know what you mean, messaging. We're gonna shut down. We're gonna break down this pot, and we're gonna try it again. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Get rid of this temporarily. So, if you guys can see, there's, well, you know what? Let me switch back to this view and show you guys. So, there's Vaseline on the back of this card, and there's not a whole lot of condensation back there at all. Like that shininess at the bottom, that's Vaseline. So condensation, unless there's condensation on the front of the card, which there really doesn't look like there is, condensation probably not the issue, which is good. Might just be the mount needs to be redone, and we'll take it from there. Wow, just had that same error last night playing Sniper Elite 5 after applying an undervolt. Yeah, I've never seen that error before. I don't know what that was about. Is that frost on the AIO pump? No, that's a LED ring. Did you get the keyboard from the Manic Geek? This keyboard? No, what, this one? I built this, and then I had sent it out to, I actually forget why I sent it to Mike initially. Was it, maybe it was to work on or fix, or maybe just to feature in one of his videos? Because I have a good amount of custom keyboards now, that I can only use so many of, and if I could help him out with his content and ship him off a keyboard for him to play with a little bit, I mean, why not? But yeah, I know he had that. I know he had put that in a video. The spread here actually looks pretty good, but we'll try to do it again. So no, he didn't build it for me, but he may have, like, I don't know, tweaked it for me or something, like, you know, I'm not sure. But no, I built that keyboard. That is a drop shift, which is their 1800 layout. And it has Gateron reds in it, for those of you keyboard heads out there. We got a super chat from Electro Tech Nerd. Thank you so much for the $5. Please start making custom water loop videos again. I miss those, especially with the 4090, with the 13900K and Ryzen 7000 series. This is something that I've put a lot of thought into recently, especially with all these high power draw components. I will be honest with you guys. The reason that I haven't done very much water cooling is that I don't use water cooling in my own personal system anymore. I made the decision maybe a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago now, that I just change out my components so frequently that I think having them in a loop, especially like a hardline custom loop, is really detrimental to me being able to do that quickly and efficiently I even use my own personal system sometimes for testing. So in order to make that happen, you know, having a hardline loop in there makes that impossible. So I haven't done water cooling for any of my own personal stuff in quite a while, which has kind of like waned my interest in doing it on the channel. And to be honest, I don't know that I think it's, I don't know, like the AIOs that are available, and like the custom cooling for a lot of different components are very efficient now. And I don't know that custom water cooling is really worth it anymore for the price and the, I don't know, how labor intensive it is. Aesthetically, still nothing touches it, right? Like that's just, it's still just the best thing to have in a computer if you're going to be like, check out my cool PC. But I don't know, for me, it's just not really what I'm doing. So I would like to get back to it. I did, the last water cooling build I did actually was at Steve's, was with Gamers Nexus. And I wasn't particularly happy with the way that one turned out. It was very functional and it worked, the cooling system worked well, but aesthetically it looked very half-assed because we had such a short period of time to turn it around, and we ran into so many roadblocks, and I had to improvise almost everything. So it was kind of tough to, I mean, I had to fabricate a bracket for an enormous radiator, and like made it out of like a case side panel, you know, like this is just like not stuff that you normally have to do. And if you do have to do something like that, you normally have more time to plan it out and think about it before you do it. So like, anyway, so that one didn't turn out the way I really wanted it to. But Steve was happy with it because it was very functional, and that's, you know, that's their whole thing. So that was the last water cool system that I actually did. And I've been thinking about it off and on ever since. And every time I think about it, I'm like, I don't know if this is worth it. But if you guys really want to see some water cooling content, I could bring that back. I certainly have, you know, obviously the 4090 seems like an appropriate component to water cool, and 13900K is an inferno in and of itself. So I think that might be a decent project to take on. Mike says, I believe I modded that keyboard with some plate foam modules, if I recall correctly, and also retune the stabs. Yeah, that definitely sounds appropriate. We always wonder why you send things to Mike. Yeah, well, why not? Why wouldn't I send things to Mike? I don't know if you guys remember the last stream. I didn't have a spreader for my thermal paste, and Corsair sent me one. So here is a Corsair branded thermal paste spread. Still not sure about that. Shut up, Siri. Yeah, Corsair branded thermal paste spreader. So we're going to use, again, KPX for our thermal interface. All right, what do we got here? Chatting about keyboards, what's the Star Wars themed one? That one is awesome. That is my Mode 80, and it has GMK Mandalorian keycaps on it, which I waited way too long for, but they are so sick. And Mike actually helped me out with that keyboard as well. I built it, and I built it in not the best way. And I was having some problems with it. Like, it didn't sound the way I wanted it. It didn't feel the way I wanted it. And then like the stabilizers were like ticking and whatnot. And I just didn't have the patience to really deal with it. And I was like, hey, Mike, this might be really good for some content on your channel. Do you want to work on it? And he said yes. So I sent it over to him, and he was able to make a video out of it. And in doing so, also fix my keyboard. So it helps us both out. But when it came back, I put my GMK Mandalorian keycaps on it. Where did that go? Where did you go, nut? Come back to me, nut. All right, well, that's gone forever. That's fun. Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna, no, I'm not gonna, yeah, I wanna do that. I'm actually gonna put these nuts on upside down because the top of them is wider than the base. So it might lead to better pressure on the cold plate. All right, so what else we got going on here? What GPU is that? This is an Asus Strix RTX 4090. Electrotech nerd, I went custom water cooled, first time hardline tubing when 5000 and 3000 launched, and it's so sick, I refuse to go back. Okay, well, I mean, like, I was a custom water cooling guy for a long time. I still love it. Like, I still think it's really, really cool. It's just, for me, it's at this point extremely time consuming and not necessarily worth it. So I haven't done it. But that doesn't mean that I can't do it for the channel. That's something completely different. So tightening these upside down is a problem because you don't get the knurling to grip. So the mount looks good-ish. I think we're good. I could probably come down some. Let me see if I could. Well, this is going to be dicey. Hold on one second. One thing you don't want to do is over torque things like this. So I'm going to try to not over torque them, but tighten them down just a little bit extra using pliers. Maybe give these in like another half a turn total. Because the tighter you can make it against the GPU, the better it's going to be. But if you go too tight, you could crack the die. Because there's no checks on this. There's no stops. So if you guys are out there in this world, be careful. This LN2 world. Well, I think this is good. It looks good to me. So we're going to try this. All right. All right, let's stuff these back in here. What's up, Indy? Indy has come over to say hello and snort a lot. All right, so hopefully this mount is good. Let's give it a boot. See what happens. Okay. While this is booting, I'm going to refill these. This one's full, so I'm going to refill the other one. All right. Sorry, there's a few programs that open here that I need to close before we do any kind of run or anything. And I didn't like that I couldn't really monitor things, so we're gonna go back to checking out everything with the sensors here. Let's get this thing back up and running. Okay. Is your 5800X3D CO tuned? You mean OC tuned? It's not, but we're not running that CPU today. This is a 13900K. All right, so let me bring this temperature down. Make sure that the pot and afterburner are in agreement with each other. Afterburner reading 27. That seems pretty good. Afterburner reading 24. Pot reading 25. Yes, this is good. You generally want it between 5 and 10 degrees. You're never going to get it exact between the pot and the reading from the CPU itself, because the thermal probe is actually not reading the die. It's reading the pot. It's against the pot. So you want to try to get them as in line as possible by making the contact between the pot and the die as strong as possible. No, is there an error? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What does that mean? Why not receiving enough video? Well, I don't know what to tell you, YouTube. I'm green over here. Looks like everything's okay. It says excellent connection now. Okay. So we're just bringing the pot back down. Did I run something that I didn't mean to run? I guess I did. Stop it. Stop it. How did I do that? That was weird. We almost got a CPU profile run. We don't want that. Okay. All right, negative 33. Negative 35. Okay. Almost no nut November. Well, you do you, bro. All right, so we're at plus 250 on the core, plus 1650 on the memory. And we'll see what happens. We're going to run this at minus 46. Video looks good. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube was. I don't know what YouTube's smoking. Wow. All right. That was a giant fail. At least it looks fun. That was a memory failure. That's what that was. Are we back? Am I back? No, it looks like, all right, we're back. I think we're back, yes. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Connection dropped out. Maybe YouTube is seeing the future or something. Wow. This is really not having it right now. Really not having it. What is going on? All right. Let me go back to setting that we did before. So just 200 on the clock and 1500 on the memory. And let me see if this runs, because if it doesn't run, then we got a problem. Yeah, sorry we dropped out there for a second, guys. All right, Philadelphia game. The Philly game postponed until tomorrow. Well, I'm a Mets fan, and I am just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this season, guys. Like, I don't know. Philadelphia, congratulations, Phillies fans. You guys did it. You got to the World Series. I don't know how you did it. They were clearly the third best team in that division, let alone in MLB. But, I mean, came together when it mattered, right? So, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was like a huge stutter at the beginning of this test, but now it seems to be running fine. I don't know what that's about. All right, so we're going to get this test to complete, get a score back, and then we'll start working back up. I don't know what's going on here. This is pretty cool. This is the best part of liquid nitrogen overclocking, just watching the smoke pour out of here. All right. Well, looks like we are back. Good. Everything looks good now. Yeah, this will be a high 28,000s run. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes these cards just like, they just hit a wall. So if we can't break our current high score of 29,121 in this session, what I will likely do is try a different card next time. Maybe the Gigabyte card, maybe MSI Gaming Trio, and then see what happens there. 28,801. Port Royal, oh yeah, okay, valid, okay. 28,801, good. So why don't I bump the memory up to 1550? Keep the temperature in the 40s, or the negative 40s. Leave the clock at plus 200. So that run we were drawing, we were sipping power last time. 300, 400 watts? What was that? Is that the most? 415 was our highest reading. The clock was pegged at 3135. So, yeah, it's weird. Like, there seems to be, like, so much headroom here, but you just can't pull from it. The high score was actually set with this card, Shane. The gigabyte card was close, but this is the card that set the record, or set my record. This is the Strix card, Mark, not an FE. I actually talked about this in my last video. How my FE is actually a really good card. It's a really good overclocker, as most FEs are. Those chips seem to be binned pretty well. The stuttering at the beginning is killing me. I don't know what that's about. I don't know how to fix that. In any event, so my FE card is really good, but I have decided that I'm not going to subject it to this torture just because I want to keep it. I want to use it for my own personal system, and I'm not going to tear it down. I'm just going to leave it, which may be dumb. Like, if I'm going for a record here, maybe I should just use the best card that I have. But, you know, the Strix card is also built very well, so I'm not really that worried about it. This run is not great. We're going to try a different run. Maybe a memory heater. Yeah, maybe a memory heater. I'll try to get one of those for the next time. If we can't do it this time, we'll try to do it next time with a memory heater. We're going to go 215 on the core. We'll leave the memory at 16. Leave the memory at 1550. Jay reckons the memory is better on his FE and making lots of difference in Port Royal. Yeah, that's what I found too. My gigabyte card can't nearly come close to what this can do clockwise. Like, this can maintain over 3100 pretty easily. But my gigabyte card can almost match it in score because the memory on that can clock over like plus 1700. Whereas this only is like plus 1500, plus 1550. So, yeah, I mean, memory makes a huge difference in Port Royal, that's for sure. So we're running less voltage than we were before, 1.1 volts, before we get up to 1.12 volts. Yeah, this test is only going to be okay. Like, these tests are all around 20, like high 28,000, you know, 28.8, something like that. I feel like I'm kind of spinning my wheels here. William says, my tough 4090 can run on 1600, but the core is stuck at plus 200. Hard to reach 3 gigahertz with the built-in cooler. Well, I mean, yeah, don't expect huge things with just the stock cooler unless you're, you know, piping some AC to it or something to at least help out a little bit. Those stock coolers are actually, they're huge for a reason. Like, these cards pull a lot of power. And, you know, the stock coolers are fine at keeping the card cool under normal conditions, but, like, don't try to push huge overclocks with them. You're just not going to get there. But, like, 3000 is just not a frequency that you need to maintain for normal everyday use, if that's your goal. Yeah, this is going to be a crappy run. $28,819. It's funny that I say that's crappy now. So we were pulling, again, we capped out at 415 watts. Like, that seems like we could go way higher than that. I know we could go way higher than that. We just need to wait. We need a way to make that happen. So I'm going to go plus 240 on the core and keep the memory at 1550. Uh, 30 kids so far. You've been busy, sir. You had 30 kids so far. Look like they're doing well. One asked me if I had another bag. Had another bag? I don't know what that means. Another bag of candy? What is he overclocking, says Papa. He is overclocking an RTX 4090. All right. No stuttering at the beginning this time, which was nice. I don't know how much of a difference that's actually going to make. Oh, empty bag for more. Oh. You are a generous person then. All right. I'll move to other thermos. It is hard during the most intense scenes. It is hard to keep this card at the temperature that we want to keep it at without just like pumping LN2 into this pot. I don't want to run it at full pot. It's not going to work. I've tried it before. The card just does not even initialize if it's too cold. So you got to keep that. Got to keep it between minus 30 and minus 50. And right now I'm struggling here with this like tiny little pores. I'm trying to keep the temperatures right. Like right now I'm at minus 29 and I've been stable at minus 29 basically this whole run. But it makes me think like, what if we could get it to run colder? Like what if we could get it to run at minus 100 or something, you know? Like would that even actually make a difference? 28,963. See, we're like so close to what my current high score is, but still, it seems still so far. And still only 415 watts is what we're drawing, like at peak. 3180. The core was running at 3180. Like, hold on. Let me see if I could show you guys this. Is that going to focus? Can you please focus? You don't want to focus? That's cool. That says 3180 on the core. And that's just not, it's just pegged at 3180. It does not move. So like, this is way better than what we were dealing with before when like, even if it would peak up that high, it would drop off quickly. But let's try to keep pushing that core up, I guess. We're 240, we'll go 255. Check to make sure your card is running at 16x speeds. There might be an issue. Okay, I could try that. You want me to just dive into BIOS and check that? Because it should be automatic, but I mean, I guess you never know. This run might be okay. We might break 29,000 with this run, which would be nice. $1.12 now, so we've got back up to our. Oh, you crashed. You mother. That was going to be a good one. I'm going to try to run it again at the same settings. Let me save this setting. Save. Okay. Go back to GPU Z. Okay. So we are running on PCIe by graphics card. Yeah, it's running at 8x. Running it by 8. That's interesting. So I guess I can. I guess I can reboot and see what it looks like in the BIOS. That is a really good catch, Nori. Thank you. Message me on Discord. Okay. Well, my Discord is open in on my other computer. Hold on a second. I don't even know where I'd find that. Well, we're going to disable the internal graphics. How about that? I don't think we need that. Okay, so I could use a little bit of help. I don't think it's anything down here. Yeah, guys, give me a second. Let me see if I can talk to Nori real quick on Discord. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. You'll probably still be able to hear me though, because I'm on a wireless lav. So I'm not going to say anything too dumb. Interesting. All right, guys. So I am in my office right now, and I'm talking to Nori about this problem. And it looks like we might not be able to solve it today, which is unfortunate because it is running it by 8 instead of by 16. All right. Well, We could still keep going. We still got enough LN2. Might still, like, that last run almost got there, so why not? We'll keep pushing on. We'll see what we can do. And then we might have to come back and try this another time. So, Nori, if you are listening, thank you very much for your help. And I'm sure we will be talking in the next few days. Let me know what you come up with. Okay, so that is definitely unfortunate. That might be what is holding us back, because with the clock speeds that we're seeing, we should definitely be able to achieve some higher scores. Like, there's no reason why we should be stuck under 29,000. Hey, Roman. Yeah, I guess we're running it by 8 here. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, because I was getting some decent clocks, and it was, running a good temperature. It just, what the mount is good. It's just not getting the scores. Maybe we could talk offline. Yeah, it might be the XOC BIOS. Okay, well, I still have a lot of liquid nitrogen, so I'm going to keep pushing on, and we'll see what we could do here. Wonder if the AMD CPU was by 16. It's not that. It might be the BIOS on the GPU. But we'll keep going, because why not? Roman, if you want to hit me up like offline, just shoot me a message or an email or something, and we could chat about it. But yeah, Nori was helping me out with this too. But anyway, it'll be interesting to try to troubleshoot this, I guess. Run the RX 6400. That was Keith's idea earlier. He wanted me to run the RX 6400 on LN2. Where am I? Yeah. That is really interesting. That is something that I wouldn't have even thought to look at. Let me, I got to refill my thermoses. All right, I got 2 full thermoses, so we might as well keep going, right? All right, while I was doing that, I got a super chat from Nori SS. This message is brought to you by Thermal Grizzly's Hydronaut Paste. Best bang for the buck. Well, how could I argue? Because you gave me $20, so I'm going to have to agree with that. Okay, yeah. Jabauer says that my highest was also around 29.1. The by 8 kills it. Yeah, I guess so. So I'm able to get the memory up decently high. Like, this card gets up to around plus 1600. My gigabyte card goes plus 1700, but the core isn't as good. So let's get this back down to like minus 40, minus 45, and then I'm going to try to run it again with the same settings that we had last time that we almost finished, because I think that was going to be at least a decent run. Yeah, I have to get a memory heater apparently. I haven't been using one. I don't have one, so. Dan Daly, $5 Canadian for the LN2 fund. Thank you very much, sir. It gets pricey. All right, we're at minus 36. I'm actually really happy with this mount. Afterburner says minus, well, it just clicked to minus 35. The pot temperature is minus 38, so seems good. Swap the memory chips out. Yikes, that is not a project for a human. Or at least this human. I also increased memory voltage to 1.45, but it also didn't help. You know, I was having, I don't know if Nori told you, but I was having a huge amount of problems with the EVC. I could not get it to read at all. I was messaging with Elmore about this, and it was not giving me, like, it was reading like 300 something volts, and all the drop downs were all grayed out. I couldn't adjust anything. I verified that like my connections were correct, and I don't know what was going on. So I tried it with that first before trying it this way, and unfortunately just couldn't get it to work. And he was kind of stumped also. He said he was going to look into it. He said he was going to do some work on his 4090 tomorrow. So I guess he'll get back to me on that. But I'm not going to have a chance to do this again probably until next week. This run might be okay. We might hit 29,000 here. Firmware, yeah, it's a brand new EVC. It's the new one, the EVC 2 SE, and it came with the newest firmware on it. I actually asked Elmore if I should update the firmware or like roll it back at all, and he said no, don't change it. All right, man. Thanks for checking in, Roman. I'll talk to you later. All right, 29,057. So at least we broke 29,000 tonight. Yeah. So let's keep pushing it here. Why not? Right? We're at 1550. Let's go plus 1600 on the memory and leave the core where it is. Because we're clocking at 3195 and we're only drawing 503 watts. So let's keep going. Let's keep pushing it here. Yeah, thanks very much to Nori and to Romans for stopping by. Really appreciate the you know, pillars of the LN2 overclocking community, the extreme overclock community, like supporting this, because I'm admittedly fairly new to this, even though, you know, at this point I have at least an okay amount of experience. But it's awesome that that they stopped in and were willing to help out. So hopefully at some point, maybe collectively, we can get our stuff together and put up a decent score between one of us. I'm still really puzzled as to how Joe hit that. I think he 20 or 30,000 score or whatever it was. That just seems like a crazy high score compared to like how hard I'm having to push here to achieve like anything. But I mean, good for him. Like he must have hit the magic mix of settings. 22nd is still a good rank. It is a decent rank, but I feel like I have the hardware here to go higher, you know, because I think 22nd is going to get we're gonna get passed pretty soon by a lot of people. $29,041. We're coming close. Coming close. So that run, we were at 3195 on the core, 504 watts. Yeah, I mean, we could do better. I know we could do better. This card has done better. 1625 on the memory. I don't want to push too high, just because once it started it erroring out last time, I couldn't get it back. So Shane says apparently he got some decent scores practicing. I think Joe was really surprised getting that score during the stream too. Oh yeah, yeah, he was for sure. But I mean, it just kind of shows that it is something that is possible. It is achievable with this hardware. We could do it. We have the technology. We just got to get there, or get really lucky. I don't know. Either way. Mark says the score came out of the blue as well. His previous score were way lower. Yeah, it seems to be the case. Oh, that was a killer run. That was like, we were up like, oh, that would have been a good one. I'm going to run that again. Let's run this back. Run it back. Why not? Almost out of this. I have to switch over to the other thermos. Mid-run. Takes a lot of dexterity, you know? To be a pro overclocker like me, a lot of dexterity. A lot of wrists, you know? Send it. All right, it's currently being sent. We're sending it. That'd be terrible pouring with my tremor. Yeah, that probably would be rough. You do have to be at least kind of smooth here. This thermometer, temperature sensor, whatever you want to call it, I hate it. I want another one. I should buy another one because this, first of all, has no stand. Second of all, it times out. It gives you like 10 minutes and then shuts itself off. Why? I need you to be on. Please be on. Oh, we're out. All right. Switch. $29,094. So close to our all-time best. So close. Let's crank the core up one bin to 2 plus 270. Let me refill this. Getting close to the end of the 10-liter dewar. Still have the whole 6-liter dewar in reserve, which I will need to use because otherwise it just goes to waste. So, you know, it's funny. I have right over there a pot on a 7980XE that we can mess around with. The problem with that is that that chip has liquid metal. So it's terrible, terrible, terrible at sub-zero. It just cracks. The last time we tried it, it was interesting because we were kind of ripping along and all of a sudden you heard like a huge crack and then the temperatures just like shot through the roof because it had no contact anymore. All right, what did I miss? Shane, you struggle typing. Oh, with the tremor. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I see you comments all the time, so it looks like you're doing at least okay. But that sucks, man. I hope you could, you know, I hope it's okay for you. Depending on the price range, you might want to look into Fluke meters. Is that like a brand of these? Or a company called Tegum. Tegum? I assume that's like a high-end thermocouple reader. Maybe. I only need it for this. Like, I just need one with a stand that stays on. Like, it doesn't need to be special. Fluke is the brand, says Mike. I didn't even know you were here, man. You've been MIA. I actually didn't know that you knew a lot about thermocouple readers. But, I mean, if it's reasonably priced, sure. But I'm not going out and spending, like, some exorbitant amount of money on a reader. That doesn't make any sense. This run is only okay. I don't even know if we're going to break 29,000 with this run. But I got a lot of LN2 to use, so let's use it. I know about electrical testing gear as it relates to automotive. Oh, yeah. Fluke just makes excellent products all around. Interesting. I mean, I can look into them, like I said, but if it's something that's exorbitantly expensive, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. All right, I think we're done pouring. Are we done? No, maybe one more splash. Yeah, this is going to be a very medium run. Super medium. I mean, by super medium, I mean the best run we've ever had. That's what I meant by super medium. We beat our high score by 3 points. How killer. Let's edit this. Or, look at that. New record high score. We're going to save it. We're going to save it as PR 29124. Save. All right. Well, at least we did it, right? Let's try to go up another bin on the core. 285. Running at over 3200 megahertz. The core here is 3210, and we're only at 504 watts. I mean, I definitely think that I guess Nori and Roman are onto something that we're just super limited by the card running at by 8 right now, which is not something I ever really thought I'd say about a graphics card. But these 4090s, man, they're something else. Every little bit helps. Yeah, 3 points. We did it. We did it. Congratulations, us. I assume that keeps us at. I haven't looked at the leaderboard. I assume that keeps me at the same spot in the leaderboard. I can't imagine that moves me up any. Well, that's not happy. Didn't like that. So we're going to go back to 270 on the core. And then maybe we'll start working on the memory. So we're at plus 1625. Let's go 1650. And go. Well, we're approaching 2 hours here. Approaching 2 hours. How long can we go? That's what she said. Lowest price taken for this use would be around 250. Yeah, that's not practical here. This thing was like, I don't know, 30 bucks or something. Well, we got some artifacting. We just a little bit. What temperature were we at? We're at right now, minus 40. I think we may have found our limit to our memory. Like, I don't know what tells me that. I'm just speculating. The memory might not be all that happy right now. Just see the nose of the ship. We're in the minus 40s right now, minus 42. I'm trying to keep it a little bit cooler than I had. Oh, that would have been a faster run. That would have, I mean, that would have been higher than 29124. So we're gonna try that again. Maybe we'll go like maybe 1640 on the memory instead of 1650. Hopefully it won't be, as Shane says, hopefully the memory won't go mental. And this mount definitely seems to be way better than the other mount. Definitely happy we broke down and started again. Thanks for putting up with that, guys. So I haven't seen any artifacting this time, which might mean we're kind of like on the edge right now. Like we've hit the memory's max max overclock, max reasonable overclock. If we push it any higher, we start to see that craziness that we saw last run. But I don't know if this is going to result in a better score or not. It's hard to say. It's crashed here a couple of times. It's crashed right here a couple times. Right here. That was going to be a good run too. I think this is like, I'm going to save this. We're going to try this again. We're going to try this again. Even for air, it's all learning for us too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get that. Like when you're just overclocking normally. I mean, it's really a give and take. Like the cards are obviously not going to be able to push as far, but you also have to consider like what exactly your needs are. Are you just overclocking to overclock, or you want a reasonable daily overclock? Yeah, it is a learning curve, especially with new hardware. It's fun and frustrating at the same time. Like I enjoy this quite a bit. But at the same time, like, you get 88% of the way through a run and it's going to be a really good run and then it just crashes. Like, that's extraordinarily frustrating. Does the stutter in the beginning of the run affect scoring in a large way? So this is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what causes that stutter, and I haven't seen it before. Maybe it has something to do with this BIOS. I don't know. But so the way the score is calculated is based on number of frames rendered. So yes, it does impact the score because it's not rendering frames at the beginning, half a second or whatever that is. So even though that doesn't seem like it could be a lot, like if you're talking about 100 frames a second or 120 frames a second at the beginning of the test and you lose 60 frames, like maybe that's the difference between a 29.1 and a 29.2. Like that, I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I don't know what to do to fix it either. Please don't hang. Please don't hang. We made it. All right. What do you got for me, Port Royal? $29,159. Okay. All right. 159. So that is a new personal best, 29,159. That is good to see. 59. Fire 2 says, good luck to you. Thank you very much, sir, or ma'am. I wonder if it's stuttering from the card trying to insert frames between the rendered frames. I don't know. Why do you think it would do that? I'm not sure. Okay, up three places. Wow, with 29,159. That's awesome. Okay, well, why don't we keep that in memory then? And push the core, maybe another bin? This seems risky. This seems like it's not going to work. Because we're running 3210 last time. We were running at 3,210 megahertz last time. Still only drawing 500 watts? That seems low. All right, run it. We're at plus 280 on the core and plus 1640 on the memory. 29,201 is the next goal. Okay. That's honestly, with the way we've been creeping up, that seems unlikely. But, I mean, why not give it a shot? This thermos is harder to pour because it doesn't have a handle, and it's girthier. It's a thick boy. When I was at Steve's, Gamers Nexus, we crashed. When I was at Gamers Nexus and we were doing some overclocking, he's got some really cool, small, like easy to handle Corsair thermoses that were awesome. But the thing is, it was like you go from the big tank to the Dewar to these to the small thermoses. It was a lot of transferring. So I like the kind of, now I just have a Dewar to these, which seems fine. But I think I'd rather have two of these with the handle. Really helps with control. We're going to try this again. We're going to try it at a little bit of a lower temperature. We were a little high last time. So let's try it at minus 50. All right, we're at minus 52. When the test starts, we'll start splashing it. Crash right away. All right. Not great. Not great. I don't think it likes this. We're going to go up a tiny, tiny notch. We're going to go back to plus 270 on the core and bump the memory up to 1650. And this is where we were artifacting last time, right? So I expect the same again. But you never know. Weird things happen. I'm tired. This is tiring. See, I just had to like turn this stupid thermocouple reader on. Oh, it didn't even boot this time. Wow. It didn't like that at all. I'm going to go cold. I'm going to go really cold. I got enough LN2. We could try this and then back off. So I'm going to try to go down to like, let's go a huge pour. We'll go down deep and we'll see what happens. Patrick Oreb, I'm outside your house. I hope you're not. That's weird. All right, we're at minus 80. Let's go down to minus 100. Like maybe we were in like some weirdo like in between zone with the minus 60 temperatures. Maybe it needs to be much colder or much warmer. Let's just see. Like might as well try it. All right, we're at minus 97, minus 98, minus 99, minus 100. I expect this to fail spectacularly. Yep, can't even do anything. That's great. All right, so we got to warm up. It's gonna reboot. It's gonna reboot itself. Reboot. All right. Let's warm you up, sir. All right, good. Back to minus 40-ish. Minus 33, yeah, it's gonna, okay. All right. Minus 31. Does he have a memory heater? No, he does not. He will be getting one for sure now. Seems like the thing I need to do next is get a memory heater. All right, we're at minus 45 right now. Let's get a run in. That was incredibly successful with an instant crash. That's fun. We might be at the point where it might not be worth keeping going, but let's reset. Let's go back to 250 and 1600 and see if we can crank this up again. Instant crash is better than 99.5% crash. Absolutely. The only problem with an instant crash versus the 99.5% crash is that a 99.5% crash generally means that you could probably run it again at those settings and you'd be able to complete it, hopefully at some point. An instant crash, you don't really know what's... Oh my lord. An instant crash, you don't really know what's wrong, you know? If this run completes, that would be something else. So Robert asks if there are shunt mod, voltage mod. There is not a shunt mod, and I don't know if you want to call it a voltage mod, but I have essentially unlocked voltage and power on this card. So should be able to achieve, significantly high scores given the right circumstances. This is a weird run. If this completes, it's going to be a mega run. I'm expecting it to crash right here. It did not. This might be a mega run. Keep pushing through, please. This might be sick. LN2 plus shrooms? Yeah. What am I even looking at right now? This is going to be a mega run. What is it? What is it? $34.08. $34.08. What? Port Royal. $34.08. What? Oh my God. 34.08. We beat our high score by 1,300 points. All right, let me update this. 34.08. Where are we? What is that? What does that get me to? Port Royal 1X. That's a world record. That is a world record run. 30,408 points. World record. You just witnessed it. What? This is awesome. This was so random, just out of nowhere. This is kind of the same thing that happened to Joe. Like, same settings, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, it just decides to blaze forward. 34.08. Oh my God, that is so sick. Let's upload that. I don't know why I'm so happy. 34.08. GN did that and 3D Mark took it off. Well, I mean, I'm going to upload it, and if they take it down, they take it down. What can I do? Maybe I shouldn't have filmed it. I should definitely tweet about this, right? Sorry, guys. Give me a second while I upload this. I can't believe that that just happened. I can't believe that this just happened. How cold was it? We were at about minus 45 for that run. Yeah, they did not take it down. Rips the Ponzi. Oh man, this is so sick. Oh my God. I don't know why this amuses me so much. All right. That was sick. Thank you so much for hanging out. Now I can retitle this World Record Live Stream. Right? Let's see. $34.08 in Port Royal. I can't type because I'm very excited. Man, all right. I am pumped now. That's awesome. That's awesome. Work to do. OGS got work to do? Yeah. Let's see if it refreshed. Yep. There we are. There we are. Number one. What happened? Did it reboot? Why did we... I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It just reboot out of nowhere. I think I'm gonna call it. I think we're gonna call it here. I don't know what happened that would allow that to give me such a high score at the same settings that we had been running essentially. The artifacting was obviously absurd. So I mean, but it does still count. So, and I think Joe's was kind of the same way. This is like freaking out now. This system is freaking out. Let's shut it down. All right. So yeah, let's wrap this up. That's so weird. Man. All right. Well, cool. I guess we're done. We set a new world record. And I'm really glad, like I said before, that Nori and Drebauer were able to stop by. I think we're going to work on this more. So I assume we're going to have more LN2 live streams in the future where we push this further. And I think that that score is kind of just the start. I think we'll be able to get up into the 31s with this card for sure, especially with this BIOS on it. But yeah, that was just like, that was just crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy. All right, so we did it. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching. I know that like it took us a while to get there, but we got there, and I'm really happy about it. And I'm gonna have to text Steve and just say you suck it with a picture of the high score. Um, yeah. Anybody like want to say anything before we peace out of here? Um, every good high score has the memory going crazy like yours did. Happened last time with Jay. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Uh, Shane says it seems to be whether you can get past those couple of crash points. Yeah, I guess so. And like, you know, it's funny because like the score just happened after I was like, let's go super cold and like and heat it up and then go back cold. Like maybe it's something to do with how the pot responds um, to that temperature fluctuation and how it's able to I don't know, conduct heat better. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I mean, that was like, that was nuts because like we were working on it, working on edging up, 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 up. And then all of a sudden I went super cold and then went super hot and then went super cold. World record. All right. Like, I don't know, but yeah, definitely the card operating in by 8 is going to hurt us. So that I think for sure is going to allow us, once we resolve that issue, to push further. Yeah. Um, Yeah, huge score being that warm. Well, I think these cards need to be that warm. They need to be in the minus 40s. They just don't work at lower temperatures than that. Mike says it'd be hard to replicate that exact run, but it worked. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try to get a memory heater too for the next couple runs. Maybe that'll help too. But this was nuts, man. This was awesome. I was kind of getting a little frustrated, but man, all of a sudden this becomes the best stream ever. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and hanging out, donating, super chatting, contributing to this. This was great. We will do this again. I'm out of town the next few days, and you guys will. Well, there's an event that I'll be reporting from. So I'll be out of town the next couple of days, and I think maybe we'll try to do this again next week or something. But until then, like thanks for everything, guys. Thank you for sticking around and supporting the channel and hanging out on Halloween, and go eat some candy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.